Show, a podcasting collaboration with JP Productions and Oddball magazine.
Good evening, all you theorists and thieves. This is indeed the Oddball Show. I'm your resident stenographer of this podcast, Prof, and I comprise 1/3 of the hip-hop entity that is JP Line Productions. As always, my casting compatriots are the two-headed monster that comprise the most vibrant poetry magazine this side of the Colorado, namely Oddball Magazine. Associate editor of the magazine, as well as host of the Stone Soup Open Mic every Monday at the Out of the Blue 2 Art Gallery in Cambridge, he is the inimitable, though we will certainly try, Mr. Chad Parento.
You guys impersonate my crickets half the time.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Just got home. It is a lonely night in South Boston, the kind I like, and this is a good time to have the cast.
Right on. And founder and editor-in-chief of Oddball Magazine, the man known as the Black Knight of Norton. Give it up for Mr. Jason Wright.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Wright from Oddball Magazine. Today we have Greg von Teig on the podcast.
Hello.
Hey Greg. He's he's known by many as Junkman Radio. So I think we've warmed up pretty well. I don't know. We had a pretty rousing discussion.
It's true. So let me intro our guest.
Yeah, why don't you come up? All right.
As our guest tonight. Okay, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Talk
about... No. My wife just texted me the Black Knight of Norton. Okay.
LOL.
LOL, Larry. Okay, go ahead.
As our guest tonight, we welcome the musical maven behind Junkman Radio, an exploration through a vast variety of music you probably have never heard but should, which is proudly syndicated at Oddball Magazine. Along with his eclectic DJing taste, our guest is an independent musician whose latest release, a collection of Bruce Springsteen covers entitled Prisoner of His Dreams, is available for purchase right now on Bandcamp, the hallowed home for independent music. All our oddballs, please welcome Mr. Greg von Teig.
Hello.
Welcome to the Oddball Show.
Hey, Greg.
So welcome. Thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
So our big topic of exploration is your diverse and interesting musical tastes, which I know that we got into a little bit in the pre-show discussion, and I know that both my co-oddballs are itching at the trigger. What's the expression I'm going for? I don't know. But are both itching at what's that?
Oddballs.
Yes. that was it. Are both itching to ask you some questions about, we were just talking about Beatles, we were talking about all different kinds of music, so I'm going to let them kick it off, though I have some questions as well. Jason, you got a place you want to start with our friend here?
Well, I didn't have any questions, though. We were just more having a conversation. Hopefully it'll be, organically, I'll come up with some questions. But, my main thing was Kanye. We were talking about Kanye on
Can we not? If we start Kanye now, it's the whole podcast.
Right.
That's the issue.
I agree with that idea.
We were talking about the similarities between Spectre and Phil Spector and Kanye.
No, that's gonna skew pro Kanye when you take someone that crazy.
I'm just saying,
It's like
Kanye's supporter in this whole place. Everyone doesn't like Kanye. I love Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm just saying Kanye is I like Kanye. I listen to his music all the time.
Kanye isn't even the best West. Northwest is the best West. Okay.
I'm a child of the '80s. My favorite. There's only one West for me. That's Go West.
How about Adam West?
We close our eyes.
Go West, young man. Go West.
Go West. Who's Go West? I'm not familiar.
King of Wishful Thinking. We close our eyes. My references are too obscure.
We'll catch you up later, Jason. It's all right, man.
You know you're in hot water when I'm missing the reference.
That man doesn't even know what you're talking about. Adam West.
Speaking of the King of Wishful Thinking, we all agreed See what I did there? No, rewinded. We were all talking about introducing ourselves in our favorite Beatles voices, but we all organically chickened out, unfortunately.
I was ready to go, but you came to me last.
You also
Yeah, it would have been weird if you're like, hello, hi, on the fifth Beatle. Like, I don't know what the hell my voice was there.
I do a Pete Best impression just to make things even weirder.
Oh, really? So you just try to leave before the whole thing starts?
No, Pete Best got kicked out. Okay? Pete Best, because he wasn't a very good drummer, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, well, I mean, what does his sound? What does his voice sound like? The sound of a door closing in front of his.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, it's pretty much that. We do have recordings of him, but I'm not aware of a voice besides some interviews that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize the Oddball show took a strong stance against Pete Best.
I feel bad for Pete Best.
I mean,
I do, man.
Some got royalties, right?
And
no, because he
didn't. He wasn't there when they did anything that they got royalties for.
He got kicked out before they signed with Capitol.
Yeah.
Oh,
kicked out forever, royalties never.
The only recordings we have of him are bootlegs.
Can you imagine being a Beatle and not being a Beatle, but being a Beatle?
Yep.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty.
There's a lot of fifth Beatles out there. He's the only one that doesn't have any money. The rest of them went somewhere. Or Brian Epstein, but that's pretty dark. We're not going to go there.
Well, no. He was a good guy. He was a
great guy.
Great guy. But Pete Best is probably listening to this podcast because.
Well, obviously.
Yeah,
all I have to do is put him up as a hashtag or as a tag in general, and
he's just searching Twitter. He's searching Twitter late at night. like, does anyone remember me?
He might be
someone made a cheap shot at me. At least they know who I am.
Exactly.
That's the life of Pete Best.
When we execute that exact same thing, I do put him in a hashtag, and he comes and finds us, I'm going to feel really terrible, guys. I want you to know that.
We're very good people, Pete Best. We're here for you. We feel bad that you're Pete Best, and you know what I mean. Not that you're Pete Best. That's not what I meant.
No, we feel bad that you became what you became. That's the sad part.
I love Pete Best. Let's leave him be.
Yeah. Let it be, even?
Oh!
I think these puns are getting crazy.
So as you can tell, obviously, from our heavy Beatles talk and some of the pre-show references, Greg, your tastes are pretty diverse. Would you say that's true? Your musical taste?
I mean, I got into music hardcore on like Springsteen, Dylan, Beatles, classic rock sort of stuff. And then I started finding the really weird crap that's coming out today, and now I'm kind of going in the other direction.
What's the other direction?
I've been going back.
Cool.
So, like, I've been listening to Field Chants and Woody Guthrie and Leadbelly and that sort of stuff recently. And so I'm trying, because you got to know where everything comes from.
I agree with that 100%. And I think rock and roll is one of the deepest wells for that kind of thing that there is. It always comes from somewhere, and there's always something cool to go find, deeper and deeper.
Yep. Yeah, especially.
No, go ahead.
Like, I don't have a time bias. A lot of people really like to focus on a certain period, whether it's in the past or the current. Whereas I'm more interested in getting a full picture of the sonic spectrum.
Right on.
You're kind of making your own wall chart, basically.
Pretty much.
Who have you found to be the most, I don't know, influential may not be the right word, but the most pervasive of those early blues rockers that you were just talking about that you're into now, Woody Guthrie and Leadbelly and?
So my top three would probably be like Son House, Leadbelly, and Josh White is my third favorite. He's not great, but I really love his voice, and he has a style to him that I really like.
Hey, Greg, did you know that that Marianne from So Long Marianne passed away today? Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Yeah,
That
Leonard
is-
Cohen tweet. He didn't tweet, but on Facebook he wrote that the woman who inspired the song "So Long, Marianne" passed away today at the ripe old age of 80. That's sad, but
She had a good run.
yeah, but she influenced Leonard Cohen, who was probably influenced by Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan and these kind of guys. Or who do you think influenced Leonard Cohen? That's a good question. Let's start with that. Who influenced Leonard Cohen?
I never got into Cohen, honestly.
Okay, let's back it up. How come you never got into Cohen?
It's kind of saccharine.
Yeah, and can I interject here real quick? Jason, you're one of the few people that ever got into Cohen the way you got into Cohen.
Yeah.
No one.
Most people know Hallelujah, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, no one's sitting around listening to actually anything besides Hallelujah these days.
I mean, I respect your love for Leonard Cohen. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it's not like his love for Kanye. It's much more respectable.
I'll probably admit
All roads lead back to
Kanye,
Kanye.
but I mean, Leonard is still Leonard Cohen. I mean,
He's very gifted at what he does. I just can't stand it.
okay, all right, hold on. Have you
If I want,
Did anyone just
If
hear
I
the gloves
want-
get thrown down in Jason's
He's like-
mic?
I just heard
if I want to hear, if I want to hear the sonic equivalent of air, just that sweetness, I know where to go.
all right. Okay, so obviously you're listening to the 70s, 80s, 90s Cohen. You're not listening to songs of Leonard Cohen and
I thought you were going to say something like 1890s or 1920s Cohen, the time traveler. Hello, Kent Leonard Cohen here.
Time Traveling Cohen. Another band name.
Out to get my money back. Dun, 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 dun.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly about Leonard Cohen. I think he's one of the greatest song lyricists of all time. I think
He's fine.
all
I
right.
put him next to Paul Simon.
I think Jason,
I put him next to
Jason's
Paul
doing a
Simon.
good impression of Kanye right now.
I'm like,
Leonard Cohen is a genius. He's the king of Guthrie.
I think going obscure for the fact of, obscure music is good, but you gotta know that Leonard Cohen, it might be obscure.
Wait,
but
are you implying that I don't know my classic rock?
no.
Is that where that's where you were going?
No, Junkman. No, Junkman. Go back, Junkman.
I wish I had a dog bark sound effect.
We need to be this MP3. Fight, kick his ass. Wow.
Okay.
Let's get this back on track. Obviously, Bruce Springsteen is such a strong influence for you. You've just released a tribute album for him. Like, where does he fit in your spectrum of influences now? Like, he wasn't listed amongst the favorites that you you just listed for Chris. So, like,
Well, he was asking about folk.
Yeah, we were talking about.
Gotcha.
It would be hard. It would be hard to argue that. Well, I mean, that was Ghost of Tom Joad, but let's not talk about that.
What's your name?
So where does he rate on your pantheon?
He is number one in my taste and sort of effect on my outlook. He's not number one in influence. The music I hear in my head is it has elements from him, but it's based much more in sort of folk and punk and folk punk and blues and really much more scrappy sort of music. That's what
What do you take from him essentially? Like, do you take more of his? Do you take more of like his? Do you take a different side of his essence, if not necessarily the musical influence?
I find the emotional core really what I take from it and work into my own music. The dire escapism, the desperation, the futility, the struggle, all that sort of the emotional core. That's what resonates with me the most, and then what I transfer into my own music.
Can you give an example of that through maybe just listing one of your songs where you maybe first noticed that happening?
See, it's hard because I've only released the EP of my original stuff is just these 4 songs, so it's hard for me to talk about my original music without going into just like unfinished tracks from a year ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what do you what would you call are the essential Springsteen songs, just so we can get an idea of like what kind of core you reach into with him?
Thunder Road is the song that changed my life.
Talk about, why is that? Tell me tell us why.
It was the first song I heard by him. I felt very alone, and he voiced a degree of the emotions he was transferring through that song. Just the amount of passion he had in there was not like anything I'd heard from anyone else up to that point.
I think it's really interesting because the thing about, I mean, I like Springsteen and I respect him more than I really enjoy him, but the thing that's always resonated with me is his fandom. They're really passionate for him, you know. They like that emotional core that you were talking about really resonates with them. So
yeah, in 1973, Mike Apple gave an introduction to Springsteen to a Columbia promoter, and he said, Bruce Springsteen is not an artist, he is a religion. And that has stayed the case through his long career.
I mean, the other thing about him, too, is he's a hell of a musician, and he treats his fans well. I know that, like, my brother or somebody went and saw him not long ago, that he played until they turned the lights out on him. Until you know, he fought to keep the lights on and play longer. And he had already played 3 hours, you know? His
3 longest shows of all time were all on the Wrecking Ball tour. He was 62 when he performed those, and they were over 4 hours.
4 hours. That's an incredibly long
He played 3 4-hour shows in a row at 62.
I mean, that's really something, and that takes a dedication. That takes a really you're only doing that for your fans. There's nothing.
Springsteen's resilience is just amazing.
Yeah.
And he was able to make a good album again for once.
Now, you talk about Bruce Springsteen, and then you go all the way back to Arlo Guthrie, and then you talk about
Guthrie.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. I don't like Arlo.
All right. No one. Wait, what's that? The Thanksgiving song? Is that the song we're talking about?
Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah, I've been there. It's all right. Turkey sandwich.
It's okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I haven't been there. But that's a joke.
Well, there's a great. The one Arlo Guthrie thing I like is in Andrew Jackson. AJJ is their new name. In their song, Survival Song, there's a point where they do the Do Re Mi chorus, and then they come back and they say, we totally ripped off a man named Woody Guthrie, and I sold a restaurant to his son named Alice. Which I always loved that lyric.
That's a great line.
So I was making a point that you're talking about this folk punk, and I know you're talking about Bruce Springsteen, and I gotta say, first off, before I go to this folk punk point, I like Nebraska. How do you feel about the Nebraska album?
Nebraska is an accidental masterpiece.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Well, that's a great line.
I mean, the whole. That's another band name right there. There's been 6 band names. Something about from earlier, which was pretty cool that you said. Anyway.
Do you know how Nebraska was made?
No. Tell us.
Over the course, in 1982, he spent about 6 months just like locked up in his house alone, and he recorded on a 4-track cassette tape recorder, like 20 demos for the next album. He went into the studio and played them all with the E Street Band, and he hated almost all of them when he got the full band together. So he goes to Clive Davis, I think was the president of Columbia at the time, and he says, "Can we just release these demos?" And Clive was like, "Yeah, sure, pick 10 songs."
That is awesome.
They didn't put any money into promoting it, but it also didn't cost them anything to make. Right. So,
was he going through something at the time? Was he going through a depression or something? Was he?
Oh, he had clinical depression up until the 90s when he started getting treatment. I mean, not very severe, but he's been very open about his struggles with that.
Just like the Nebraska album, Pinkerton. You ever heard that album by Weezer? I don't know if you like that album, but
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite Weezer albums. I don't really like Weezer. I think they are they put out a lot of music. They might have put out too much music, but I like what they put out with Pinkerton. And he did the same kind of thing. He was going through this dark period. River Cuomo was going through this dark period. And he hated Pinkerton. He recorded all these songs. He was going to trash the album, and then they were like, don't trash it. It's really good. Kind of like what they did with Nebraska. It's interesting how accidental masterpieces happen. I think Pinkerton is one of the best Weezer albums, just like I think Nebraska is definitely Bruce Springsteen's best album in my opinion. I don't know.
It's a departure from everything he had done before.
Yeah.
In a way that really worked.
Now, when you're talking about, I mean, of course we know that isolation and stuff sometimes makes great music, but and that point is valid. But when you're talking about the neo-punk,
Neo-punk?
What do you call it?
Folk-punk, you mean?
Yeah, folk-punk. When you think of
neo-punk and post-punk also exist, and they have nothing to do with it. So.
Yeah, right. I just think when I think of folk-punk, I come to a band like the Violent Femmes. What do you think of the Violent Femmes?
I have a lot of respect for them because they laid the foundation for a lot of what I love, but I really only like them.
Have you do you like that kind of style? It's basically an acoustic punk rock.
It's very primitive compared to what has been coming out recently.
So what would you recommend then?
I'm planning a show all about folk punk and sort of the history of it. The first modern folk punk album was probably the acoustic EP by Against Me.
Oh,
which came out in Against Me is a great punk band, but before they were a great punk band, they released this acoustic EP that was absolute masterpiece and influenced everyone from Patch New Ice to Sean Bonnet to the Blackbird Round guys whose name I'm forgetting. Everyone listened to that, and Laura Jane Grace never went back to it.
So do you like the folk punk because of the fact that it's less acoustic? It's less electric in your face, or I mean, it's in your face, but it's acoustic. Is that what it is?
It feels like a natural marriage between two genres that had never really mixed before. Folk and punk both come out of the same cultural roots, the same animosity, the same poverty, the same sort of the same disrespect for the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
All these things exist in both genres, but were widely untapped for decades.
I think it's a really insightful point. That's really pretty interesting.
Let's move on.
What?
And so we should get back to that point because we should stay with that. But we got to introduce Ivan. I mean.
Yep. That's fair.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that then. Coming in right now, joining us for this podcast, which is very kind and fortunate to have him here tonight. My co-worker at J9 Productions, 1/3 of the brilliant mind that make us up, Scholar, aka Ivan Jesus.
I'm actually bowing. I hear the applause, but you guys can't see that. I can show you. I can turn my camera on. Bow for you guys.
Wow.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, brother?
How's it going, Greg? Nice to meet you.
It's going well.
Nice
to meet you.
Indeed.
We haven't talked to Ivan Scholar in a while. How you been, Scholar?
It's been 3 weeks, man. It hasn't been that long. Define a while. A while.
Oh, 3 weeks.
Good, man.
So things are good? Summer's good?
I'm good. Busy. Very, very busy. But, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, which is actually in about 3 weeks. So I'm very happy to report that. Just wanted to come on, show my support, listen in a little bit, contribute if and where available, and you know what I mean?
What's happening in 3 weeks?
But yeah, no, things are good. I mean, generally speaking, I can't complain. Like I said, just super busy. Literally just freed up when I started pinging you guys. So I'm here. I'm happy we're doing this. I'm happy Greg's on. I don't know a lot about Springsteen or punk rock. I did read recently that he's touring again, which surprised me. I figured he was, I don't know, 70-something at this point.
He's 66, and we were just discussing that his longest shows have all been from the past 5 years.
Really? So he's getting better with age, I guess, or at least more stamina with age.
I mean, he really reached like peak physical condition in the 80s, and he just kept with that.
Oh, there you go.
He has taken care of himself very well.
It's like the artist Viagra.
Yeah, he's kind of the anti-Keith Richards.
Yeah, I don't know how
Although he keeps rocking too. I mean, shit, he doesn't look great, but he keeps on rocking.
I think if you just put as many drugs into your system as possible, eventually the body doesn't know what to do and starts rewinding time.
Okay, my joke is, what if Keith Richards needs surgery? What do you use for anesthesia? He's gonna have a hip replacement, and they're gonna be like, "We don't have enough morphine for you."
That brings my favorite, mate.
I, for one, am inspired. I'd like to think that at 66 I'll still be rocking out, but more likely I'll be dead.
66? That is not a good projection, man.
That's not even like
I'm well over
statistically
halfway there, so and Chad's even closer than I am. So.
Chad's in peak physical. Chad is the Bruce Springsteen of poetry.
That's
He's been called that before, actually. I've heard that about him.
You have not. That's not even. I'm nipping that one in the bud. Good Christ.
He's the
I'm the Leonard Cohen of poetry. In case you didn't hear the Leonard bashing from earlier.
He has 6 books, okay, guys? He has 6 books, so I hope you're the Leonard Cohen of poetry. He's 6 books.
I'm 2 books. I'm the Pete Best. I barely have 1 book. It's not even on Amazon. I'm the Pete Best of poetry. Good Christ.
No, because you weren't that close to the biggest poet ever.
That's true.
This would be more like if you collaborated with Robert Frost, and then he was like, "No, you're gone," and then you became Robert Frost.
That's for some reason I'm British and I'm reading for the poet, the president. Oh God. These are the worst accents. I need to do Keith when he's just waking up. All right. Anyway, let's go back to Keith needs with surgery.
Here, let me redirect this way. So right before we introed Scholar, we were talking about folk punk, and I can tell from some of your playlists on Junkman Radio that Bob Dylan is obviously a big figure in your pantheon, whether fandom or respect or whatever it is. The question I want to ask, Greg, is what do you think is the secret to Bob Dylan's power?
Ooh.
Ripping everyone off.
Talk more, please tell me.
Okay, Dylan took a lot of stuff from other people in the Village when he was first starting out. I actually had the pleasure of talking to 2 people who he took riffs from, Happy Traum and Martin Carthy, and when I asked them about Dylan, they said that they didn't mind. So I don't think this is a big issue, but he really did make his career out of being the best of everyone that was in that scene.
Well, I mean, I know that he had a huge split with Joni Mitchell. That's how, and theirs was based off of him potentially ripping people off, or at least not being true to the Greenwich Village scene.
It's complicated.
Okay.
I side with Dylan because for all the outcry against him I don't hear the people who actually wrote his music decrying him.
Right on.
So I'm willing to let him go if the people he took from will let him go. And of course, I mean, his innovation wasn't what he took. That was just how he became. That was how he rose to power. Then you hit the great trilogy, Bring It All Back Home, Highway 61, and Blonde on Blonde. None of that's coming from. None of that is just taking what other people had done and repeating it. He was taking what other people had done and reinventing it.
You know what I find interesting about Bob Dylan is now let me ask you this question. You think Rubber Soul and Revolver would have happened without Bob Dylan, or would it just happen later?
Oh no. No. First of all, they needed Dylan to introduce them to pot. And
But someone else could have eventually. I mean, someone else could have.
It wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah, Bob knew how to get the good stuff.
This is the '60s, man. They didn't have.
The issue is that the issue is that without Dylan, Lennon never would have entered that sort of folk scene. He really got transfixed by Dylan's persona and then by his music. And that's how he then developed things like What's on Rubber Soul.
You know, have you ever read the book A Day in the Life?
No, I've read several other Beatles books, but not that one.
It's such a great book, and talks about how he was on the set of Help, and they would kind of go off the set and get high, and then do the Help thing, and then they started Rubber Soul.
Yeah, I read the in book form. I read the Playboy interviews with him from 1979, right before he died, and most of the songs on Rubber Soul they asked him about. He's like, I was trying to be Dylan.
Well, I mean, on Help, I think he was more like Dylan, with songs like "I'm Gonna Hide Your Love," "Hide Your Love."
Yeah, certainly. In Help, it's the tracks on Help that he is influenced by Bob Dylan. It's much more copying, whereas Rubber Soul is kind of taking what Dylan did and twisting it into John Lennon.
Yeah. Do you think more people would like Bob Dylan if he had a better voice?
No.
No,
he has the perfect voice for the music he sings.
I agree.
See,
if it was any other voice,
could you picture him having?
I think like a lot of great singers, Leonard Cohen. I think a lot of singers don't get their due because of their voice.
Ever listen to Harry Nilsson's version of Subterranean Homesick Blues?
Oh, I love Harry Nilsson. I think he had a perfect voice, but then he even when his voice declined towards the end, it was pretty terrible. But still, it had
That's my point.
To it that I really like.
That's the point I'm making. Is that Harry Nilsson had an amazing voice and totally screwed up Subterranean Homesick Blues. Dylan had the right voice for the music he made. He made music for his voice.
I think Subterranean Homesick Blues remains one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs. What do you think of the random OK Computer Radiohead song Subterranean Homesick Alien? Why do you think they combined those two? Did you ever hear that song?
I don't pay much attention to Radiohead. They make me sleepy.
Okay, all right.
That's not even an insult. I don't think they're bad. They just make me sleepy. I don't know why.
Have you heard the? Of course, you've heard OK Computer. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
And
I listened to it like twice.
Twice?
Yeah, twice. I don't remember it well.
What? You only listened to OK Computer twice?
Yeah, it's not my thing.
How many times are you gonna ask him the same question, Jason?
Twice, apparently.
Okay, let me revise that. I listened to OK Computer 5 times, but I fell asleep for 3 of them. Again, this isn't a burn. I don't think they're bad. That's just the effect they have on me. It's nothing. It is completely personal.
What's music that you absolutely hate? That makes you offended to listen to, or even makes you sick?
What music makes you sick?
He even gave Cohen a pass, or tried to until Jason persisted. But
well, I mean, here's a different way to ask it. Maybe I don't have a brand of music or any kind of music that I hate. I don't.
Oh, Hank Williams. Hank Williams. There we go.
There you go.
Everyone has something.
I was going to say though that everybody has one, and I get
Hank Williams' sort of significance and influence, but the tones of the instruments and the way he sings just get under my skin. I can't stand it.
Hank Williams is the one.
Can we go back to this Radiohead issue for a second?
No, come on.
We can't. There's no issue.
He heard it 5
other people.
I've already
2 seconds on this. Okay, so when I first heard OK Computer,
That was more 5 seconds.
All right, 5 seconds. I heard it. I bought it. I bought the CD when we had CDs. I bought the CD. I listened to it once, and then I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And this was in 1998. So before that, there was no music like OK Computer. There was nothing in that genre that was anything comparable to what they were doing with OK Computer. The only thing that I was bringing up was that they referenced Subterranean Homesick Blues.
It's true. We heard that. Yeah.
And I was just saying that I didn't listen to that album much.
Okay. Well, see, you gotta come from my perspective. I'm an 18 or 7, no, I'm a 16, 17-year-old, and I'm hearing Radiohead's OK Computer after the Bends. It's pretty monumental. It changed my life. But yeah, I mean, I listened to it more than twice, though. I mean, I really listened to it, and that was the reason I listened to some of the...
I churn through so much music. I generally don't give things more than 2 or 3 listens.
Well, how can you do that and really grasp what the music is about? I mean, you just can't filter all this music and then hope to find something that you listen to more than 5 times. I mean, music is there for.
I've developed a very quick ear.
Yeah.
Through
a
lot of, there are things I look for while I'm listening. It's not a passive sort of thing. I am very actively like, what is he doing here? Why is he doing it? What is he trying to achieve, and what does he achieve?
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, as far as like how you pick music, because I'd like to talk about your Junkman Radio show a little bit. Jason described you as like the best music. I think in the beginning it was like the best music, best musician you haven't heard yet, and that's kind of the crux of your show as well. You feature an array of amazing artists. I'm
just in publicity department. I just want these artists. I just want someone to hear this artist they wouldn't hear if I didn't direct them to it.
Well, how do you hunt them down? Like, how do you know, say, let's talk about the set list from episode 4, which just came up yesterday. How did you go about selecting that group of musicians? Were they people that you knew or just people that you found? How do you go about
they're just people I found. I remember HAJ, formerly Andrew Jackson Jihad, pulled me in with their name. The juxtaposition of American expansion with religious warfare, particularly that America is very afraid of, made me very interested. I became more interested when I found out that none of their songs are actually political. And that album, that's the album that got me into folk punk, actually, and to a certain degree folk itself. And that was linked to me by my friend Rob Duffy, who probably isn't listening to this, but I hope he is, because now he knows how important that album was to me. And so that's how I found that one. I don't remember how I found some of these. Usually it's either like Bandcamp or Reddit or some aggregate like that.
So you're essentially doing what a lot of us used to do when we were younger, which was like you're kind of like doing your own modern take of like carousing the record stores.
Yeah, actually, is there any on this episode that I got? I mean, I go to record stores and just... Oh, that's the problem. I wasn't looking at the right thing. I go to record stores and just buy anthologies because they're a really good way to find a variety of artists with, I can hear if one song particularly grabs me or I think it has potential, I can go look up what else that person has done. That's how I got really into Leadbelly. I inherited my grandmother's 5-disc anthology of folk music that was put out by Folkways in the 70s. And it had Leadbelly, and it had Josh White, and it had Lightning Hopkins, and it had these Lomax recordings of prisoners in a black prison in Mississippi in the 40s singing prison chants, and all of those I just was captivated by.
Wow.
Is that the same way that are those anthologies the same way that you find some of your international music?
Oddly enough, no. Most international music I get through the internet because I'm not willing to pay the import prices.
Right on.
They're outside of my. I can't gamble with an import record. It's too expensive.
So how do you go about finding something like that? Like on your the set list we were just talking about on set 4, you start with a Romanian. What is it? Romanian
folk metal. They're fantastic, by the way.
I listen to them.
They're real.
It's something I've never heard. I had to sit on Romanian folk metal.
Oh, I am always looking for the weirdest genre.
It's great. It's really.
I started with Swedish electro swing.
Swedish electro swing.
That was on the first episode, I think.
So cool.
That was. Why isn't it on the first episode?
Uh-oh, Chad.
Okay, now I know what's going in the next episode.
I didn't take it out. I'm just like, oh, we can't have
I don't
that.
want no electro metal. On
Yeah, no. The next current winner of weirdest subgenre goes to chiptune pirate metal.
Oh, what is that?
Say that one more time.
Chiptune pirate metal. It is pirate metal that was made using the technology used in 16-bit video games. This is I gotta pull up my Bandcamp page to find the name, but this is 100% real.
That's such a man.
So it's like pirate music, like Seven Seas, like Pirates.
It's original. It's original is the crazy thing. It's
but it sounds
done
like
in
it's in Legend of Zelda.
It's okay. It is called.
He said 16-bit, man.
That's 16-bit.
Yeah, Link to the Past was 16-bit.
Not 8-bit.
It is called Pieces of 8-Bit, the Chiptune Pirate Metal EP.
Can you play some?
I can link you guys to it.
Yeah.
Please
I don't know how to.
Maybe we should do a segment of that for when we put the show on iTunes.
Yeah, we'll put it on iTunes and we'll play it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hashtag.
I've sent you guys the link. It is by Rainbow Dragon Eyes, all one word. You can get it at rainbowdragoneyes.bandcamp.com.
That's
fact,
pretty amazing.
We'll put that in our pertinent link section. It's a good chance to mention this, along with
Rainbow Dragon.
all of Greg's contact info, his Facebook and his Twitter, and links to his Bandcamp and his podcast, both on Oddball and on his own WordPress site. Throughout the podcast, you're on Audible. Yep.
You said Audible?
No.
I think he said Oddball.
Service.
No, I said
Oddball.
on
Okay.
Oddball.
I was confused because I was like, I'm not an author.
Wow,
Is that why we're getting so many hits?
people are feeding
Yeah.
the mic function on.
Yeah, people are like, there's
Take
this
me to
Oddball place. They have this Oddball place where they have audiobooks. Oh,
Yeah.
well, this is cool too.
Yeah, at least it's somewhat within your target audience.
Yeah,
Thank you,
shitty
Mike. God.
But
Thanks, shitty dictation.
so in
Okay.
addition to all that,
Anyway, continue.
in addition to all that stuff, we will be adding all pertinent links that we're collecting throughout the podcast here, things that we think our audience will be interested in. And Rainbow Dragon Eyes, is that the name of that group?
Rainbow Dragon Eyes.
We're going to put that link in there because that is
All
chiptune
one word.
metal, a genre you've never heard of, will never hear of again, other than on the Oddball show. It's fantastic.
I have a question regarding your purveying of music. Was that a regular hobby of yours that just organically developed into your Junkman show, or is that something you kind of had to learn when you had the idea of doing the show? Like, which came first?
It was the hobby came first. I got really intense 10th grade, I'd say, and then I got into the really obscure stuff then in 11th, and so it wasn't something that I had been doing for a long time. It was something that was very recent and very enthusiastic and quickly took off, but it's not something. I didn't start looking for this stuff so that I could have a podcast. I started a podcast so I could show this stuff to people. Because I heard all this.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I heard all this music that I thought was fantastic, but nobody was listening to. I was like, I gotta help these guys out, even if it's just in my little way.
And you started doing that in the 10th grade?
No, I got into music in the 10th grade. I started Junkman sometime last year, and then brought it to Oddball just like 2 months ago.
What I was getting at is that how old are you now?
I'm 20.
Oh, okay, so you're really part of a new generation that's really exploring music kind of differently, or exploring like things that you collect and that your interests. I mean, I used to be a collector myself, but kind of the whole idea of like the hunt and the chase kind of went away from me when everything became available on on Amazon and on Kindle. You kind of lose a little bit of the thrill and everything. But at least in music, you're kind of saying that that there's still that hunt there. Except I would probably say you kind of have to really be specific with your nets. You can almost cast too wide a net. But you're kind of part of a new generation that knows how to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to everything just because I want. Just because if it's good, I want to be able to share it. I kind of I'm having trouble finding words for this part. But I get that most people aren't willing to put up with all the digging that I do, and that just motivates me more to do it.
Well, let me ask this: Do you ever make mixtapes? I mean, it seems like a natural place that you would have started for the same reasons that you would want to be sharing music. People That seems like that'd be the place you start.
I have a page on Junkman called Greg that is just like, I made it because I kept getting asked what kind of music I listened to, and I didn't have a good answer, so now I can just link them to that instead.
Right on.
And that.
That's why we decided.
That's really.
That's why we picked you up, because we thought such interesting music had to be shared, and what a wide variety. You casted a wide net.
Yeah, and I was getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out on it before you guys picked me up, so I'm very grateful that you gave me that boost.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I think your musical taste needs to be shared with people, and we applaud Junkman Radio, and it's great.
True that.
Yeah.
We're going to go into things. We're going to go into some. I think we're going to segue soon. But what's the most interesting connection or feedback that you've gotten since you've started or even restarted the podcast?
I actually haven't gotten any feedback. Aside from like, hey, I like that show. Hey, I like that song. I haven't gotten anything deeper. I'm trying to mix up the format a little bit. I've got something planned for the next show, but yeah, it's pretty much just been more of the same.
We look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, well, so it's a pretty good time, I guess, to segment into. We'll break it up a little bit. We'll talk. I'm going to spend time talking about Greg's new music and talking about the Springsteen. I almost call it a tribute album. The Springsteen cover album. Yeah. But before we do that, let's do a quick check-in with what's going on at Oddball Magazine and JP Line Productions, your host for the Oddball show. Oddball, do you guys want to go first, or do you want me to pick it off first?
We haven't heard much from JP Line last week. Let's hear what you're up to now this week.
What you doing, man?
All right. Well, JP Line Productions is your home for hip-hop and all other things. Sorry. Your home with the Country Hip-Hop Center is really the way to put it. We are based on hip-hop, but we like to talk about all sorts of things. And this week, I'll be doing a little piece called Post-Convention Hangover. Last 2 weeks of if you are a politically active person were very interesting. The Democratic Convention, and then before that, the Republican Convention, both very different in character. I think they actually had an effect on the race, both of them. And then this weekend, Trump decides to shoot himself in the foot by
with a sniper rifle.
With a military-grade weapon by insulting the mother of a gold star mother, and then continuing to snowball that whole thing. So that's going to work in a little bit. But I really, we're kind of at a point that we're close to the election, so I want to take a little temperature check of just kind of talk about what's going on right now, and what will happen between now and November. We're at a different place than we were a couple months ago, and now, I don't know, coming down the wire here, and the race is sad in a lot of ways and interesting in others. So that's what I'm doing, is post-convention hangover. We're also starting up something this weekend, a little, I won't talk too much about it, but a little photo campaign to go along with the Summer Olympics start on Friday or Thursday. Opening ceremonies are. So in conjunction with that, we'll be doing a little campaign. And then we're also going to run this weekend on Saturday. Our rap flashback piece is Scholars' Top 5 Moments from Yo MTV Raps. Yo MTV Raps premiered on August 6, 1988. Also ended in the month of August. So as part of our rap flashback piece, our trip through hip-hop history, we'll be doing a piece from our August rap flashback of Scholars' Top 5 Yo MTV Rap Moments. So you don't want to miss that. In addition, for rap history, we also have a couple birthdays. Yesterday was Chuck D and Professor Griff, as well as Chuck D of Public Enemy.
I said, yep.
Oh, I thought you said who. I've never heard of this fellow. Chuck D and Professor Griff are both born the same day on August 1st. Coolio. Spinderella's birthday is tomorrow. Spinderella of Salt and Pepper. And Adam Yauch, a.k.a. the Beastie Boys, his birthday is on Friday. So happy birthday to all of them from JP9 Productions. So come check us out at jp9productions.com. Find out what we're all about, and come hear some of Boston's dopest alternative hip-hop. Scholar?
We got Straight Outta Compton and, The Throne, August 8th. Rap flashback. Straight Outta Compton, 88. Monumental NWA album, 8888. And then we got Watch the Throne, which also debuted on August 8th. I want to say 2012, possibly 2011.
Yeah, it's 2011.
Love that.
2011. So that'll go up. A short piece on that will go up later this week. And more so with Straight Outta Compton, that'll also dive into or expand into the movie that came out last year and all the hype that they got. They finally got into the Hall of Fame, which I thought was long overdue. So a little discussion on that coming up on the rap flashback, and more than anything, looking forward to getting my time back so I can start writing about some of the more recent stuff that's been going on. So much has been going on. The hip hop honors, the Rich Homie Quan incident where he forgot Biggie's lines was something that absolutely cracked me up, and it was just I had no time to write about it. So yeah, just looking forward to mid-September, full steam ahead. Start putting a little bit more hip hop back into the blog site there, into the overall operation. But in the meantime, we got some rap flashback to hold us over, and we'll go from there.
So that's jp9productions.com, and going on over at Oddball, gentlemen.
From Straight Outta Compton to Straight Outta Norton, it's Oddball magazine. That joke never gets old. It just will not. I refuse to let it die. A lot going on this week. We've already had the odds by Bill Harvey. He is back as the cartoonist. Junkman, of course, debuted yesterday. Thanks again, Greg. And we have today for poetry Sarah Viola and Jagged Thoughts from Jason, our esteemed editor. I'm getting a final, due to some correspondence issues, I'm having a hard time figuring out who the accepted poets are going to be for tomorrow, but I know we have our usual columnists with James Van Looy, It's All One Thing, Andrew Bourne, 7 Times, and the Underground Garden, the music and lyrical column by Liza Zayas. And of course we have for Stone Soup Poetry on Monday, we have Gemma Cooper Novak. She's going to be featured on Friday's Stone Soup Servings. And it's actually Gemma Cooper Novak's last performance in Boston before she moves and leaves the city to pursue her fortune as a playwright and poet. So we're wishing her luck on that, all the while withholding the idea that there really is no fortunes to be had as a playwright or poet. I'm kidding. That's just bitter Chad talking. We have more announcements coming up and more artists to feature on the website, including Nate Connors, Susan Tepper, Howie Good, and other people who I haven't sent them their acceptance letters yet. So keep tuned to oddballmagazine.com and check out Stone Soup Poetry.blogspot.com. and you'll get the latest news as it comes. And thanks so much for reading. I think I'm done.
I just want to the spotlight of the week goes to the poem by Eric Nelson. This week was
last week, I think.
Last week was friggin' phenomenal with artwork from Caesar.
Caesar Valente.
Yeah, holy cow.
Caesar Valente has become kind of MVP as far as artistic contributors. He's been basically doing original commissions on request, and I needed something very special to merge with Eric's poem, which combined world events with Pokemon Go. And I can't really say much more than that. Just look up Eric Nelson on Oddball magazine. I think he's still on the front page, just a little lower. And we can, I would definitely recommend
Eric Nelson.
Checking that out.
Look up Eric Nelson and artwork by Caesar Valtierra.
Valtierra? I said the wrong name. I got totally confused him with another artist. But yeah, it's fantastic work.
Oh, incredible. And that is our spotlight of the week. That goes to Eric Nelson. So thanks for reading Oddball magazine. Back to you, Prof.
Our spotlight of the week is someone from last week? Okay. Why not?
Prof.
All right, so we're coming down to the end of the Oddball. That is jp9productions.com and oddballmagazine.com. Please come check us out. We are your home for Boston's best poetry and for Boston's best hip-hop. We are now coming down to the end of the Oddball hour here. We've been just flying along, talking about all different kinds of music. I mean, looking over my notes here, we have talked about a lot of different types and varieties. But I don't want to go away without talking about Greg's new upcoming, or not upcoming, it's already released, his newest release of Bruce Springsteen covers. What draws you, actually, this is a two-part question, what draws you to playing covers? And in addition, the Taylor Swift cover, the first thing it reminded me of, it's good. The Taylor Swift cover, the first thing it reminded me of was Johnny Cash covering Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. Like, the thing about covers to me is you got to do something that the original, you got to bring something to it the original artist doesn't. Different, additional, something different. You choosing a cover to play as an artist is not like it's not an automatic thing. You can't play the greatest hits of somebody else. You have to choose correctly something that you can add to it. So when you choose a cover, either be it Taylor Swift or Bruce Springsteen, who is one of your favorite and biggest artists, what makes you choose? What's your guideline?
The first thing is, do I hear something different? This really, if I don't already hear something in the song that is not present in the studio version or the live version or whatever it is I'm listening to, then I don't even try, because then you're just forcing it. With the Taylor Swift cover, I heard that very clearly and had been wanting to do that for some time, but couldn't figure out how. What really draws me to covers is that I feel like I'm able to learn how to how do I put this?
I think I understand what you're about to dig at. Is that, or correct me if I'm wrong, but there's two parts to being a musician: is the writing and then the performing. Once you have it, once you've written the song, then it continues to grow. And by taking material, you don't have to. Skipping that first step makes you able to put something different into the second step.
Yeah. After that first release, Fear and Loathing in Judea, Savage Pilgrimage to the Heart of Semitic Dream, which is a much better title than it is an EP.
It really is an awesome title, I will tell you.
And the art is great. Shout out to Kevin Franz, that he mirrored Stedman's font perfectly.
Wait, who is that that did that cover art? That really is pretty good.
Kevin Franz is the name of. You can find him at kevinfranzisamonster.tumblr.com. That's where I found him. And he gave me a very good rate on that. That was a great investment. But after that, I felt like I really didn't have. I felt like I had good ideas, but I didn't know how to execute them. So then doing covers sort of has two aspects. One is you study how the artist made the song at first. You see what has worked for other artists in a way that you don't if you're just listening.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pick apart a song and then reassemble it. It's kind of like if you ever picked apart a radio or something when you were a kid just to see how it works. It's like that. And then the execution is the other part, and I always have to push myself to do something new. I've done some covers where I didn't do anything new. I didn't release them.
New meaning like recently released music that you're saying?
No, I just mean do something that wasn't in the original.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. I really feel like if I don't bring something separate to it, I mean, I recorded this Rod Stewart cover that I absolutely love, but if it ever shows up, it's going to be an outtake or a bonus track or something, because it's just kind of whatever. It just repeats the song.
I got you.
When I put something out, I want you to hear that. I want you to feel like you heard that song for the first time again.
I think that's a lot of what I was trying to hit on with the covers. You got to bring something new to it. So I think that's
Yeah, and I feel like that is not only a great challenge, but a great learning experience. And so it's a great... covers are very expensive for artists to do, which is why they mostly don't do them. But they're a great way to learn how these songs work. Like I learned... picking apart some of these songs, I have learned far more than any of the music theory classes that I took.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there somebody that you have not yet covered, or a song or a person that you've not yet covered that's bubbling in the back of your brain?
Well, there's my blues punk project, but that's all I want to say about that at the moment.
Wait, what'd you say?
Blues punk. It's an ongoing project. I hope it becomes a full album. It might only be an EP, but it's a set of older covers. So the answer is yes, but I'm recording them, so I don't want to talk much about it.
Excellent. I like it. But blues punk.
I feel like as much as sort of my Springsteen album was a fresh take on these songs, what I'm working on now feels like a reimagining.
Excellent.
And a redefining of these older tunes.
Well, that's excellent. We'll certainly be looking forward to that.
Yep, I've got several songs finished, so something's going to get released. I just don't know what yet.
Right on, right on. And as a closing question from me, when can we next look forward to Junkman Radio? Either wherever it might pop up.
The next Junkman Radio is on, the 16th, I want to say?
Excellent.
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from yesterday.
No, 2 weeks from yesterday. It's going to be on the 15th. And I'm hoping the next episode is probably going to be a crossover with the Those Darn Cats podcast, where we're going to review an album. It's a little bit of a departure. If it is not that episode, it will be the episode after that.
Cool.
Yeah. We're going to close up, but I do want to say, with the Junkman Radio, I do enjoy the interludes between the music. I mean, feel free to expand on those.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to expand on them. That's one of the things I'm really looking to. That's one of the reasons I'm switching to the album review format for the next episode. Is I want to really dive into it instead of just show it.
Yeah, I think that would be really a great way.
That's why I'm working on the folk punk history episode, because I feel like I have a lot to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I approached, I found your website, and I said, this is really interesting. I love the music on this. Can we get Greg on on Oddball, and we did, and we've been so happy to have you. And also, I want to say thank you for being on the show. I mean, I had a good time debating with you about music, and you are certainly a knowledgeable foe, which I really enjoyed.
Thank you.
It was a good
Thank you.
time. Yeah.
That's my most common compliment is I know my stuff, even though you don't agree with me.
We could continue this podcast, definitely. I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
We'll have to come back in a couple, maybe a month or two, when Junkman's got more stuff up, and we'll talk more about it, and we just want to see how it progresses and everything.
I'd be very happy to come back.
Yeah, definitely. So we're super psyched. So thanks for being on the show, Prof.
Well, I mean, yeah, thank you very much, Greg. Thanks for being here. We look forward to having you back another time to talk more about your crazy in-depth knowledge. I want to talk some more British invasion. There's a whole lot of 80s rock to talk about. So
we don't talk about the 80s.
Plenty of fertile ground to talk about. So we really would look forward to having you back again. Thank you very much for being here.
Wow.
And to all our listeners, thank you very much for listening. You can find us now on SoundCloud and on iTunes at The Oddball Show. You can also find us there on that same name on Facebook. And in addition, The Oddball Show is comprised of JP9 Productions and Oddball Magazine, and you can find us on our various social media networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest.
Yeah.
So come find us. Come be a part of The Oddball Show. Thanks for listening, and come find out more about what our two entities are all about. To close out tonight, Jason, you want to give us a little jagged thought?
I sure will, yeah. Once again, thanks, Greg, for being on the show. If you guys got to check out Junkman Radio every other Monday at Oddball Magazine. Thanks for being on the show, Greg. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. And I'm going to close off tonight with Jagged Thought 135, Poetry for Squares. Poetry for Squares. Decahedronists, advanced nucleidic nautical neopods, despots, fractal living geometrical alphanistical ego-sucking linguists, butterflying the words, bold words, quick dashes, pants and posy, pants and posy, pants and posy. Poetry for Squares isn't any good. Poetry needs balls, it needs rhythm, it needs magnetism. It should shift you and shape you. Create an algorithm that takes you out of your daydream nation, your washing machine teen dream, your I fear Satan and he's a lot scary than you think, your thirst and wanting more, more, more. What happened to the poets who spoke with broken beer bottles, who drank and spit and fucked a lot? What happened to booze and bruised, faithful to only the pen? No woman, no man could contain the storm in the bottle. When did poetry lose its shape? E.E. wrote in lowercase. Jack never shut up. Burroughs was a sharpshooter. Bukowski would punch you for reading this. Sylvia was beautiful, and Gertrude was beautiful, and flowers are beautiful. But I always liked Emily. We would have gotten along really well. I bet we would have been friends. I can only imagine her, proud that she was published in some teen magazine, pin-up for poetry. I just wish I had guts to lay it down like she did. She did not stop for fame. Fame kindly stopped for her. She was very sad. She would be still. But us prescription thinkers, she would find comfort in us. She knows the poets. She knows the ink and veins poets, the scribble-minded sonneteers and the temperate rhythmics. She would love hip-hop, and she would love rock and roll. She would play 45s of Bright Eyes and listen to the sad singers on stage and find it beautiful, I'm sure. Yeah, she was a thinker. I wonder what she would think about you or about me, about life, or about this poem, about fame, poetry incorporated, withdraws, copyrights, rejections, academics. Would she be one of those poets? I would like to think she wouldn't be. I like to think she would be more like me, writing for if she didn't, she'd die. How many poets today write like that, who need poetry like a fuck or a drug? Not many anymore. We are a dying breed. Thank you very much. And that was Jagged Thoughts 135, Poetry for Squares. You can find that at oddballmagazine.com. So, thanks. And for everybody out there in Cyberworld, good night from the Oddball Show. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
This is the Oddball Show, a podcasting collaboration with AP Live Productions and Oddball magazine.